Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. How are you all tonight? I have a question for you. It's an important question. What kind of shape is your group in? Now, you may think that I'm talking about how good as shots they are, right? And how's their medical, and how's their orienteering, and how all that kind of stuff, the cool stuff, right? The stuff that's exciting. No, it's about something much more important than that. Now, I'm going to give you a warning here. This is for people, I would say serious preppers, but people, I think, see that differently. It doesn't mean you have to be an advanced prepper. What it means is it's for those who understand, who approach prepping with the proper sense of responsibility, okay? Not just the exciting, the stuff they can buy, the gear they can have, but true preparedness, as I've said, is the ultimate responsibility, is the ultimate in responsibility. And so if that's you, great. This is for you. If that's not you, you're not going to get it. Well, you should get something out of this, but you probably won't. So go watch something about guns. We were down in Mound City, Kansas this afternoon. Kelly's had a booth down there at the Sugar Mound Arts and Crafts Festival. It is great. We do it every year. She's done it for years. Have a great time. And so we were down there this afternoon, and Kelly got a text from the wife of a very dear friend of mine. Well, actually, the wife is also a very dear friend of ours. We're friends. Excuse me just a second. So they're both. We are very, very dear friends, have been for years. He's a member of what you've referred to or heard me refer to as my circle of friends. That's what I call our group. Okay, and got a text that my friend, had not been feeling good. Told his wife he wasn't feeling very well. All of a sudden, his heart stopped. And the paramedics got there, and after, compressions, which I'm sure broke most of and separated his ribs from his sternum and broke a bunch of them. Any of you who have been involved in those things know the kind of damage that is done from that. After going through that and then zapping him 4 times, they were able to bring him back. Okay, I want to talk about this. Now, this man he's one of the smartest men I know. He is extremely accomplished. A couple of years older than I am, so he's probably maybe the oldest in our circle of friends when we talk about it for preparedness purposes. But he's been very active all his life. He's a retired prosecutor. He's recently, just in the last, as a result of reading my books and me convincing him, nagging at him, he got involved and very serious about preparedness 5 or 6 years ago. And when he does something, he gives it his all. Being retired, he is involved in every group and organization you can imagine. He has been active with all of his kids. Hey, honey? Yeah. I'm upstairs. Kelly didn't realize she'd turned off a light that you all needed to see me. So he is involved to the max in everything he does. He has been involved in scouting with his 2 teenage sons since the time they were in Cub Scouts. He, as I say, belongs to every group you can possibly belong to, for community service, for whatever. And after he becomes involved, invariably, he ends up being the head of it because he is so involved and so talented. That's what happens. Luckily, they were able to bring him back. Now, had they not, and our prayers are with him, any of you who would care to give up a prayer for him, his name's Doug. And I'm sure many of you will. Had they not been able to bring him back, the hole would have left in his family could not be measured. Okay, we can say that no one is irreplaceable, but in a family, people are irreplaceable. Now, as far as our group is concerned, our circle of friends, the hole would have been drastic, but we have a lot of capable people. My friend thought that he kept himself very active, but like too many of us at our age, he lived the good life. All right? He carried more weight than he needed to. He carried stresses that he didn't need to. He was a high-functioning individual, and I don't know if you're aware, probably many of you are. Many of those considered to be high-functioning individuals die early deaths because of the internal stress that develops as a result of it. So the shape that I'm asking you, what shape is your group in, comes back to a subject that far too many preppers don't want to deal with. They don't want to think about it. They want to ignore it, and as a result, the results can be devastating. I've talked before about so many. On the rare occasion when I had gone to some prepper meetings years ago, I was amazed at how many people in them were overweight. Now, I know that can be seen as hate speech, weightism or whatever, sizeism, something like that. It's not hate speech. It's love speech. If a person allows themselves to get bigger than they should be, they are avoiding the responsibility they have to themselves, to their family, and to their group, and to their community, because they will not be able to function as well. And they set themselves up for an early death, or they set themselves up that if something real happens, a situation like this might take them out of not just the fight. We're not just talking about the bang, bang, bang. Take them out of the efforts that are needed for the group, the family, whatever. Okay. Now, let me throw in a couple of things here that are it's not meant to hurt feelings. It's meant to help. Remember, I owned a gym for years. I've helped people who were overweight. Well, nobody's overweight. They're over fat, and people don't like to hear that. So let's have a little tough love here, okay? If you're bigger than you should be, it's not because you have too much weight, it's because you have too much fat. You're not overweight, you're over fat. I shouldn't say you. A person, let's put it that way, okay? A person, because you may not be in this position. You might keep yourself in great shape. You might have a friend, okay, who needs help in this area. So this is what I'm addressing. If a person has allowed themselves to get bigger, they are over fat. It is a result of lifestyle. It's a result of not enough activity and eating not just too much, but the wrong stuff, junk. It's unhealthy. It's life-threatening. It is life-threatening. When we talk about preparedness being the ultimate in responsibility, it comes right back to this. You have a responsibility to be able to do your best. Okay? Now, I've had friends, and I'm going to put in a couple of other things here too. I've had friends, many of them from the martial arts or used to be fighters, whatever, and they've allowed themselves to get bigger than they should. And you've heard the saying, well, I might not be able to catch you, but if I get a hold of you, it's over. Okay, that's an excuse by a person who's let themselves go. And the answer to that is, well, I'll just run over there and you'll die of a heart attack before you catch me. So that's a stupid argument. Okay? People will say, well, I'm just a big person. Nobody is that big. You would be amazed, maybe you wouldn't, if you've studied this, if you studied anatomy and physiology and kinesiology and syndesmology and all that, you would understand that for the most part, people's skeletal structures are pretty much the same. Okay? If you take people whose normal musculature, and what I mean there, without juicing, without the roids, without extra fat, people, while some will be able to put on more muscle, they don't put on mammoth size. So if a person is inordinately large, it's not because they have a big skeleton. It's not because they're just a big guy, which implies that they just have big muscles. No, they have the same muscles that everybody else does for the most part. Now, they might be stronger if they've done, heavy work throughout their lives. They could be stronger, but their muscles aren't that much bigger if you boiled the fat off. Now, it has not been my intent to insult anyone, to offend anyone, or to hurt anyone's feelings. I say this out of concern and my desire to make people who may be dealing with these kinds of things face the truth. My friend lived a great, a prosperous life. He ate very well. He thought he was probably getting exercise because he was active. Being active is not the same as being, how should I put this? A lot of people think they're active when they're just busy, okay? Some people think that they are really putting out work when they're just active. And what I mean by that, they're moving around all the time, okay? My friend probably thought that. And too many people think, well, it's just a function of age, we get bigger. No, we get bigger because we eat too much crap and we don't do enough work. I'll leave you with this one story. Kelly and I used to own a tanning salon. And there was this girl that came in, and she was very large. Sweetest thing in the world. And one day I sat down. She was waiting out in the waiting room, waiting for a tanning bed to come open. And I'll tell you this, she was so big, we were concerned every time she got on one of our tanning beds that it would break. That big, okay? And so I sat down with her. And somehow she brought it up, because I never would have. She brought up the fact of her weight and all this. And I could tell she was going through the excuses, and she looked at me with a sparkling smile, and she said, but you know what? I'm happy with myself. And I looked at her, and I said, I don't believe you for a minute. You're lying to me, and you're lying to yourself. I said that because I had been through this. I've known people, I've helped people before when I owned my gym who were going through this. And she looked at me, and I thought she was going to get mad and stomp out and never come back. But she looked at me for just a moment with a blank look on her face. And then she started crying. She knew what I said was the truth. And that girl had the guts and the internal fortitude and the internal honesty, instead of getting upset at what I said, to listen to what I said and admit that I was telling her a truth, and that truth did not come from hate, it came from love, concern for her. I didn't see her for a long time, but Kelly told me that she came back sometime, because I wasn't out there at the tanning salon all the time, and she said she came in and she had lost a lot of weight. And she had a boyfriend. She'd never had a boyfriend before. Oh, Kelly she's hearing me tell the story. She's in the other room, and I just heard her tell me 100 pounds. She had lost 100 pounds. And she asked Kelly, she said, tell Craig. That's the name that most people, I know you all know me by Steve. That's my legal name that I write my books under. That's why I do it on here. But she said, tell Craig. Lost 100 pounds. And you know what? The thing that she said that was a lie before, which was, I am happy with myself, was now the truth. I want you all, if you need to think about this. If you have let yourself go, and I'll say I did. I've let myself go. Did I just tell you that I've lost 34 pounds? Because I realized I was tired of having a gut. You know what? If you're a man and you got a gut, you shouldn't have a gut. It's not normal for a man to have a gut. Okay? We have guts because we eat too much crap and we don't get enough work in. Working this wonderful machine that God gave us. And we're destroying ourselves. It's slow suicide not to take care of yourself, and that is the ultimate in irresponsibility, because you're responsible to yourself, to your family, to your friends, and to your group. So, I hope that some out there will listen to this. There is no reason you shouldn't be the same size you were in high school, college, the Army, whatever. Okay? There's no reason. Well, there's a reason that you're not that size, but the reason comes back on you. It's your responsibility. You have to accept that responsibility. It can be fixed, but nobody can fix it but you. And if you really maintain that you have, I'm sorry, I should stop saying you, because I know that a lot of you, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about a person. Again, this could be somebody you know. Maybe it's not you. Maybe you keep yourself in perfect shape, in which case I haven't been talking about you. But it might be a friend. It might be somebody in your group. The person needs to realize they have a responsibility. Just like, I go out and I train and I go to the range once a month because I need to keep my shooting skills sharp. If that's what it takes for you to keep here I said you again, if that's what it takes them to keep their skills sharp, because my group depends on me. Your group also depends on you to be healthy. And to be able to run 100 yards over there, or to be able to continue carrying things. Being overweight and out of shape puts an almost unbearable, a challenging load on your entire body, on every system in your body. It puts a challenging load on your heart, on your lungs, your entire cardiovascular and pulmonary systems. It puts stresses on your back, on your hips, on your knees, on your ankles, on your feet. Now tell me what's good about that. I prayed and I was thankful that my friend, they were able to bring him back. He now has another shot. And you can be sure that I will be talking with him about, sometimes it takes something like that to make somebody listen, right? How many people do you know that say, I've got to get back in shape. I've got to get rid of this gut. And do they? How often do they? They don't, right? I'm going to start Monday. I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to, No, they don't until something happens. So I'll be talking to my friend. I will add something else. You've heard me say, and I don't like this what's better, country, rural, small town, suburbs, there seems to be kind of I don't know, people like to say that where they live is the best. And I've made my case for why I think the suburbs are. If he had lived very much farther out, and he just lives within a couple of miles of me. We're both very close to an excellent hospital, the same one I went to about, 2 months ago? If he had lived out in even the smaller town about 8 miles south of here, he'd be dead now. That's why, just saying. So what kind of shape is your group in? Can they all shoot the eyes out of a gnat at 500 meters? Good. Okay. Can they all build a super shelter with a pocket knife? All right. Are they hauling around an extra 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds? Not all right. So this is, I won't say it's one of the easiest things to do, but it's certainly, you can get yourself in healthy, good shape for a lot cheaper than you can buy another gun, right? Do you know it does not cost more to eat well than to eat crap? And if you eat crap, that's what you become. So I hope that this has meant something to some of you. If you're the one that needs to take care of this, please do. Your life will be so much better. Your family will be able to have you around probably years longer than they would otherwise. Your group will be able to depend on you more. Except for the 0.5% to 1% who has medical issues that makes it just impossible for them to maintain a normal weight. The only reason that you're over fat is because of what you have done to yourself or what you have not made yourself do to get you back where you should be. God gave you this beautiful machine, the human body. And most of you are familiar with the scripture that says, "Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit?" What kind of trashy temple have so many people allowed it to become, right? Get it back to the way it should be so that you can be healthy, you can live a better life, your family can live a better life, your family can enjoy you and depend on you longer, and your group can depend on you longer. Remember, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. You can start this right now. If there's a Twinkie waiting for you in the kitchen, just say no. You all have a good night. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.